Well, we've got an atomic purple Gameboy Color here, which is in really quite decent condition. The screen looks really nice, the lens looks really good, there's no scratches or anything major done to it. And buttons all seem in good condition, and it does read games, and it's got the shell for the battery, which I found is less common than I would have thought. So what we're dealing with this one is not all the buttons work. So we're gonna power it on here. Oops, gotta put my game in here. We'll try this again. So start it, and notice that I can't go up or down. I can hit select, so the select button works. Start button does not. So what I'm hoping is that this is just a open shut case that requires some cleaning, and we'll see how that goes. One thing I might have to do after looking at this is there's some bit of corrosion on the battery terminals. It does work, which is good, but I might have to drop that into some handy dandy vinegar and see if that makes any improvement. But what we're going to do is first we're going to crack this open and see how our buttons look. It'd be really great if all I had to do was throw some alcohol under the contacts, under the button pads, silicone, and to get it back working. I'm not going to hold my breath, but the fact that one button works and the rest don't, and the fact that this is all part of one motherboard, there's not really any connectors between them, so unless a whole bunch of traces got messed up somehow, maybe with corrosion, I'm thinking this is going to be a pretty easy fix. Watch me eat my words. I've done it before. Let's see here. As we get this cracked open, we'll see. Okay. Get this off here. Push those through there. Oh, well, it might be corrosion, because notice there's some rust here. There's actually a bit of rust on the motherboard there. Well, we shall see what happens. There's a little bit of corrosion from battery acid on this screw. Nothing crazy, but sometimes indicative of a bigger issue. Alright, pop this baby out. Let's see what we're working with here. Well, aha. At least in one case, I think we can say that that is the cause for the issue. It's quite corroded. And if we open this up, see that this is actually pretty, it's got some residue on there too, which is possible that it's making it difficult to send the signal. It's also, I have a theory, that's what I'm leaning towards a little more, is that that start button, because of the corrosion, actually pressed down permanently, which might be causing some issues for it. So what I'm going to do is pop these buttons out here. We're going to wash all these, get them into a bin, and give them the good old dish soap treatment, and probably, so maybe we could do some vinegar on that back plate. But what I want to try to do is try to rub some alcohol on this. Got some good stuff here. And see if there's any residue that comes off through the process. See? because they look pretty decent, to be perfectly honest. What I'm gonna do is put this back in. Oops. Pop this back in here. Oh, come on. There we go. So I'm going to pop that back in there, and we're going to get our batteries back in. And turn on, whoops. Ooh, nice close-up there. Turn her on. And now, what I've done in the past is just use one of these pads on individual buttons. Let's see if I can test it out. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm going to pause for a second while I readjust. Alright, I got a new position here. So, I think that was good. That was okay. So I was able to test this with a single pad, and found out that all the buttons, all the contacts on the actual board seem to work. You can see I just press start to boot up my game here. I'll press start again. There we go. So buttons do seem to work. I can hardly tell with this angle that I'm at, but now I'm on the options. So I'm going to start by cleaning these button pads off, and then we'll get her back together. Maybe we can clean up some of that corrosion, and we'll see where that takes us. So I'm actually going to put these pieces in vinegar first and let them sit to the amount of corrosion that I'm seeing. And uh-oh, I think I lost a button. That's okay. We'll get it back out soon. So the one thing I'm going to do is take these batteries out, and I need to get this out of there. Take your game out. We're going to leave everything here. I'm not seeing the button. Luckily the button itself wasn't in too bad a shape, but I would... Oh, there it is. I'll wash it anyway. I do want to take this piece out. Let's see, it's pretty well rusted. Let's see if I can actually get it out without breaking it worse, because that rust is really bad. And that piece is good, or that screw's good. We're going to get all of this in some vinegar. Clean it up really nice. And for some of these rusty pieces, if vinegar doesn't work, well, we'll try some CLR. Well, that one might be in there for good. We'll try one more screwdriver here. Nope. Alright, well, let's see if we can get that one out a different way. But we're going to wash up what we have. Oh, that's right, I need to see if I can get this out with my little screwdriver, little flathead. got it out. Throw that in some CLR vinegar and clean it right up. Now the screw ended up being a little bit more stubborn than I expected. I got the rest of them out, but I ended up having to use some pliers for this one, so I'm slowly, little by little, twisting it with these pliers, and I actually am getting some give, so it's coming out. It's just a matter of time and patience. Alright, and we've got it out. I'm going to take this little shield, if I can focus. Come on. Oh, come on. Jeez. Take this little shield off. See what we're working with underneath. I'm going to drop this in some CLR. And I'm actually thinking I may put some CLR in there also, just to clean it up for the new screw. Not going to be putting this one back into anything anytime soon. But got it all nice and clean, and got the other pieces soaking in vinegar, so we'll see how it all goes. Alright, CLR's been sitting there for a couple hours or so, and I just took my Q-tip and wish I would have had the recording on before I wiped the rust off, but it just flaked right off. And some of these pieces, or these screws, you can see the rust down in there has come off of them, which is nice. So I think I'm going to go rinse these. The other thing that I did was throw in the battery terminal here, and seems like the corrosion came off of that pretty well too. I'm not entirely too worried about that because it didn't look too terrible to begin with, but yeah, you know what, I don't know if I had that side in there all the way. There we go. We're going to submerge that a little bit, let it sit for a little bit longer. The other thing I did was where that screw was right here in the case, I put in some more CLR in here. I didn't really want to submerge the whole case, but I did want to get that screw hole submerged so that the rust would dissolve within it. So we'll probably give it another hour and then rinse it all off, put it back together, and make sure that it all works. Although until then, well, I gotta have the battery terminal fixed before I can turn the dang thing on. So I guess we'll be waiting. Alright, reassembly time. So ran this through some dish soap and some CLR, and you can see that the screw hole actually ended up pretty good compared to the rest of them. I think it'll work. The one thing is I don't actually know if I have the proper screw for that hole, but we're going to see if I can find one. So one of the first things I'm going to do is reseat this battery terminal, which you can see turned out pretty well. This residue on here, I don't think it was battery corrosion after all. Maybe it was, but I don't know what kind of battery it was. I'm almost wondering if it was actually some type of adhesive, because when I was scrubbing it off, it came off a little gooey. So that was interesting. But we're gonna reseat this back into the case now that we've washed it. Everything's in good shape, and just push this down until it clicks. Yep. Alright, I guess we're in, I think. Yep, I think that's as far down as it's going to be. You know what? I think I might have got the spring. Oh, yeah, okay. That is coming out. So, let's see here. Supposed to be the easy part. Alright. Put it in place. Yep. think that's about as good as it's gonna get. So we're gonna call that as it is. And now, yep, you know what? Forgot the metal shield. I'll be right back because that turned out really nice. All right, so there's the shielding. Let's see, that's the rusty corner right there. Turned out pretty darn well. And we're gonna pop this on just like that. Now the question is, I don't remember which screws go there. I believe they're the long screws. And these screws turned out pretty darn well. I threw those in the CLR bath alongside everything else. It's great for rust. Let's see if these fit in there. Yep. I think that's what we got. Darn it. There we go. Alright, so I don't think it's going to really hurt to not have that screw. The shield isn't going anywhere, so we're just going to leave it as is. The motherboard's going to end up tying the rest of it down too. So next thing we're going to do, a lot of buttons, silicone pads, which washed up I think pretty nicely. There's all of this. One thing I haven't decided on is if I'm going to try to do anything with this connector here. Looks like the leads are all really good. This part has me a little concerned, but I don't do any wireless transfers. The connector doesn't look terrible. I might have to try it out and see how well it goes. But first thing we're going to do is bend this back. And we're going to put this in, slot it in right where that key is over in the corner. And B should go there, A should go there. Here's our start buttons. We'll put our little silicone membranes over them. Okay. Next thing we do, make sure our speaker's seated properly. That's all fitted well. And put our power switch, down. Have to lift this up a little bit to get it underneath. Maybe. Come on now. There we go. Okay. Let's put it in there like so. Make sure that works. Alright. Next thing, I'm not gonna seat this, or I'm not gonna screw the motherboard all the way back in just yet. I'm going to try to see if this works first. Double A's here. Well, that's a problem. I did not realize that would actually, I didn't realize that was, it would let me fit it in that way. But turns out it did, so let's get our screwdriver back in. That at least explains why I had the experience that I'd had with it. We'll slide that out, flip this over, and now it should click into place. And I think I'm gonna have to bend out that yeah, the little piece here. Just a little too flat. So we're going to have to bend this out. I believe it will go, oops. I believe it's going to go out this way. There we go. So it's just a little bit of a barb there. And now, that's the satisfying click that I was looking for. Okay, let's give this another shot. That was embarrassing. Now that our batteries will fit in there, we're going to throw in our cartridge here. All right, moment of truth. All right. Let's boot this up in the game. Okay, that's good. That B is working. Good. Keyboards are always a nice place to test the D-pad here. All right. Select works too. Let's see if we can reset. All right. We are in good shape, I think. Well, last thing's left is to get the screws in, but I'm going to call this one a success. Thanks for watching.